homemade traditional Peruvian dessert, alfajores, basket of ham, beef, turkey, veggie gourmet sandwiches. Call Giveaways Catering, phone number 778-245-3007. Welcome to the Immigrants Magazine's program. I am Fabiola Palomino, your host. North American English accents tend to use the flap. What is a flap? All about this topic on our gentle guide to Canadian English accent. But first, our teaser.
Just keep dreaming. Like, don't give up. Don't give up your dreams. Like, I know it's hard when you come to a city and to a country and start from scratch. But you're the same person, no matter where you are.
I'd like to talk to you about something that English teachers will call the flap. Now, the flap is a phenomenon in North American accents.
In a land where gods have turned into mountains, the siblings of the sun.
Cecilia Valencia Sandoval came to Canada 11 years ago. In this interview second part, we are going to talk about her career, environment aspects, and her plans for her future. Cecilia Valencia is our guest on our Tell Actual Story segment.
When I finished studying at the University of British Columbia, I got a job there, and I worked for a couple of years there. It was really good. After that, I got a few projects with other companies that were doing work in Mexico. But after a couple of years, my options were shrinking and shrinking. I was like, there's not a lot of people who work in projects in Mexico. So I was getting very frustrated. I couldn't find a job, and my expectations were, okay, I'm gonna find an employer so I can work for them. I'll get my paycheck every 2 weeks and, stability and all that. But then when I found there was no one basically looking for a person like me, I got really frustrated because I knew in Mexico I could get a really good job, but not here. So I was it was this battle that quality of life is really great here, but I can't get the job that I'm really passionate about, and I can't find a company that it's a good fit for me, and I don't want to give in my career. So it was really frustrating for me. A couple of years I got depressed, and then I was like, probably I should just think outside the box. Why do I have to find someone that looks for someone like me? Why don't I just create my own things, my own projects, right? So of course, this was with help with my husband, he was supporting me, right? So that was great because I know we need to eat, and when you have to work and bring the food to home. But my husband was really helpful and supportive. So then that's when I was like, okay, my mind shifted, right? It's like, okay, I don't have to find someone that needs me. I can do my own projects. So that's when I started to think, okay, I want to keep working in Mexico, in Mexican projects. So why not to create a consultant company where they need me in Mexico, so I'll just keep working in projects in Mexico with my private company, right? With my own company. I don't need another company to hire me to do projects there. I can do them on my own, right? So that was one, and the other one was I saw an opportunity in Vancouver. People in Vancouver are willing to pay more for fair trade and environmentally friendly products and all that thing. And I was like, well, why don't I find communities in Mexico who are doing these sort of products and bring them to Canada so people buy them, And local communities in Mexico will benefit from that. I will benefit from that, and consumers here will benefit from that. So that was when I finally found the light. I was like, well, Canada, it could be a country of opportunities if you think outside the box, I think. You just need to think outside the box. At the local scale, and I mean Metro Vancouver, is the urban sprawl. Like the way Surrey and Richmond and all the suburban areas are expanding, I think it's the worst that it's happening to Vancouver. Like, just people who migrate to Canada, probably their dream is to have a bigger house and be outside a urban center, but I think that's the big problem. That I come from Guadalajara, which is a huge city, and that's the biggest problem of the city, like just how it's growing. Like, it's just like people want bigger houses, and it's not affordable, so they just end in the suburbs, right? But that's causing a lot of environmental problems and a lot of pollution, and it's just, yeah, I would say that's the biggest problem in Vancouver, like urban sprawl. The municipality of Vancouver, which is like 700,000 people. So the Vancouver goals, are you familiar with the 2020 goals? Like, the Vancouver government, the mayor, is setting goals to be the greenest city in the planet, but that's only Vancouver itself. So now, for instance, like the referendum for transit, it was voted no for all the residents, right? So that was a really bad decision, because that means we don't have better public transit, right? So people in the suburbs will drive to the city all the time, and that creates a lot of pollution, and it's just like the urban sprawl, it creates a lot of problems, right? So I mean, it's a beautiful city, and the quality of life, it's amazing, but it's at risk if we don't change the way we perceive cities, right? Well, we have a consultant company that does environmental planning. So I've been focused on the Mexican projects. We work with governments in Mexico. Basically, they hire us to do consultant projects. The last one we did the management plan for Bosque Los Colomos, which is like the Stanley Park for Guadalajara. So we came up with a restoration plan. It's an urban forest that needs a lot of work. It's basically destroyed by all the urban sprawl and contamination, pollution, and all sorts of things. So that's one project we worked last year, and at the end of this year, we're gonna go down to Guadalajara. We are working with a group of people, with the locals, the local government, to help them plan or prevent urban floodings with the rain that is going on in Guadalajara right now, which is really heavy rain in the summertime. All the streets get flooded. So that has been causing a lot of damage for the last few years. So they are basically asking us to come down, and we'll bring people from Metro Vancouver to try to plan the areas that we can use green infrastructure to prevent all this flooding. So I mean, this is kind of the planning we do. Like, we work in rural and urban areas to make the places more sustainable or more environmentally friendly. In 5 years, I think finally I wanna, like, just go to the same, like, do the same I'm doing now, like, get more projects through my company. I have another business that imports products from Mexico. I work with local communities in Mexico that work in the countryside. They make products handmade, and they're environmentally friendly. So I would like to increase my sales as well, so I can be more like financially independent. Like, right now I have a kid, so I haven't had much time, but now he's growing. So I think in 5 years, I would like to make both my consultant company and my import business grow. I think that's the same path I want to do. And I see myself living in Vancouver still, but just going back and forward to Mexico. I think my heart will always be in Mexico. advice? Honestly, like right now the situation is really bad in Mexico. So I'm more mad than missing my country, right? Like it's just like what I miss about my country right now is my family and my friends and the food. Well, it has a lot to offer, so it's really frustrating, right? Like a few bad people are destroying our country. So, but I see the light. Like there's a lot of people who are trying to change the country, and I think it's happening. It will take a while, but it will happen. I mean, there's a lot of good people who have the skills, so we just need to, to replicate those people so it becomes more strong, like stronger than the bad people who are there, right? So my philosophy is just keep dreaming. Like don't give up your dreams. Like I know it's hard when you like come to a city and to a country and start from scratch, but you're the same person no matter where you are. Like you bring with you your culture, your dreams, your baggage, good or bad, and just keep dreaming and embrace the opportunity that Canada gives you, right? Like it's a country with opportunities. It's not easy, but you just need to find your way, where to fit in the system so you can make your dreams come true, right? It's hard, but I think you can. Like don't give in. Like you can achieve what you want with a lot of effort, but it's possible, I think.
30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90. How was my pronunciation? Was good or not? The flap is our topic in our gentle guide to Canadian English accent. Next.
Hi, I'm Gwen Pawlikowski, and this is your gentle guide to Canadian English accents. During today's segment, I'd like to talk to you about something that English teachers will call the flap. Now, the flap is a phenomenon in North American accents. So you're going to hear it when you're in Canada as well. And it's the thing that happens when a T sound changes to a soft D. So this will happen, for instance, in the word better. So you know that the word better is spelled B-E-T-T-E-R. Now, from looking at the word, you'd think, oh, it's going to be pronounced like this, better. But it's not. We don't pronounce it like that. We pronounce it with a soft D. We say better. And we do that to other words too, words like butter, right? Also spelled B-U-T-T-E-R, but those two T's become a D sound. And the switch from those T's to a D that switch is called the flap. A very usual place where you'll hear it in conversation is when someone says, see you later. We know that later is spelled L-A-T-E-R, but the T is a flap, and so we say it later with a D sound. Now a soft D. Now this soft D is going to be pronounced a little bit differently from how you pronounce a normal D. And I'm going to kind of show you with my hands a bit and kind of just try to get you to feel the difference. If we imagine that this is the top of your mouth and your tongue is going to reach up and touch the top of your mouth, in a regular D, it's a real full feeling of your tongue up against your mouth. So if you say dad, you hear you feel a real strong pressure of your whole tongue reaching up to touch the top of your mouth. The flap is not like that. The flap is just a tap or flap, right? So it's really soft, and it results in a kind of faster sound, just a gentle duh. For people who are coming from Asia, it may sound a little bit like a R sound from their native languages. Anyway, if you can pronounce regular words like later or better with this flap sound, it does tend to give you a little bit more of a Canadian accent. And knowing this also helps you to better understand Canadians who are speaking. Now, one of the places where the flap occurs in very common words is in numbers. So words like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. All those words, you know, end with ty, but we say them as if they end with a d. So 30, right? You can hear a real d, but just a light, soft da in the word 30. And these words, 30, 40, and so on, are words that often get confused with other words. And I know for a lot of students of English or people who speak English as a second language, it's sometimes really hard to hear the difference between 30, 30, and 13, 13. Now, the flap is one of the differences. So when I say 30, there's a flap. When I say 13, there's no flap. It's more of a T sound, 13. There's another difference too between the 30, 40, and so on words and the teen words, and that is in the syllable that gets accented. So when I say 30 or 40 or 50, it's always the first syllable that gets the full accent. So 30, 40, 50. In the cases of the teen words, it's the opposite. It's going to be the teen part that gets accented. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? 17 compared to 70, 18 compared to 80. So if you are careful about your flaps, and if you're also watching which syllable you're stressing, you can really clearly explain to people these particular numbers, whether it's going to be 90 or 19. So by giving you this information on the flap and how it's used in these number words, I hope I've helped you to understand Canadians a little bit more, and I hope that this is also going to help you to make yourself better understood, particularly when you're using words that use the flap, and particularly those numbers. So this has been Gwen Pawlikowski with your gentle guide to Canadian accents. Thanks for joining me.
A country is known by its traditions, dances, and customs. This event, called Flash Mob, organized by the Peruvian community, shows us how colorful could be custom dresses. Next. Peru has 3 regions: coast, Andes, and jungle. Each of them is represented by custom dresses and dances. On behalf of that variety, the Peruvian community organized a flash mob, promoting the international recognized Peru brand with enthusiastic Peruvians in Vancouver.
Well, good afternoon to everybody. I'm the new Consul General here in Vancouver, the Peruvian General Consul. My name is Manuel Cacho Souza. I just arrived 15 days ago. My first impressions of Vancouver is a very nice and lovely city, very multicultural. And we are here to promote all the Peruvian activities like the one we have just heard today. I am proud to be a Peruvian, and I'm proud to be a nice community here that enjoys dancing, our typical dances, and I will provide everything to them.
This spontaneous event called Flash Mob joined the Peruvian community to dance and spend unforgettable moments. And remember, Peruvian people party everywhere, anywhere, and with everyone. Thanks to the Peruvian community for sharing with our audience a piece of Peru.
Have you ever felt something's missing? Like when you leave home in the morning and think you've forgotten something, but you never know what. The feeling that there's something else you should be doing, somewhere else you should be. It is an emptiness that cannot be filled, but it is not in your wardrobe, and it is not in your stocking. It's the name of the song you can't remember, the piece of the jigsaw missing from the box. It's in the part of you you never knew you were missing. And it's in a place you've never looked before. A place where they don't talk about food, but about feeling. Where you realize you never needed new trainers, just new paths. A place where you never feel you've forgotten something, because it reminds you that everything you need is inside. Where 140 characters are never enough, because words simply cannot describe it at all. It's the final piece of the jigsaw. The wider perspective, the bigger picture. It's what you should be doing in the place where you should be. Where emptiness makes you feel complete. Here in the middle of nowhere, you don't need anything else. This isn't a place you discover. It's a place where you discover yourself. Discover the you never knew. Discover yourself in Peru. Peru, land of hidden treasures.
In a land where gods have turned into mountains, the siblings of the sun dress in gold. Scissor-handed mortals dance for days on end. Pink dolphins emerge from the water. In the distance, we can see a magnificent city made entirely of mud. And ancestral figures stretch for miles across the desert. This place exists. See it. Feel it. Peru, live the legend.
Sometimes we have to repeat our script many times to be all perfect. Watch these images behind the scenes next. A country is known by its traditions. Dresses, custom, no. by traditions, no, organized by the Peruvian community. Before closing this episode, I have a phrase for you. No importa cuán lento vaya uno, lo que importa es que nunca te detengas. No matter how slow you go, it matters that you never stop. Thanks for watching us.
El día que te conocí, me gusta mucho tu cuerpo, ¿sabes?
이렇게 손 이렇게 뻗어가.
Que mal administrado teve cerca de
El día que te conocí.
Problemas de relaciones interpersonales, separación, divorcio, problemas con niños, adolescentes y adultos.
Soy la doctora Yolanda Montoya, soy Clinical Counselor y mi teléfono es el 604-861-1071.